Alright, welcome for the static toxic zone explanation. So, first variable, is toxic zone active? If by, I don't know which reason you want it to be disabled, the static one I mean, those two doesn't move, then you just have to put that to 0, and then the toxic zone won't appear, the static one. If you want to have only the moving zone, then check the previous tutorial. Alright, so you can add new static toxic zone in that section. So you can take the first one if you want, copy it, go to line, paste it, and make sure there is that small symbol that I always forgot in English between two of the zones. Alright, so if I explain a bit about what's inside, there is four different parts. You've got the settings regarding the static toxic zone, so coordinates if you're using a circle toxic zone with x, y, radius, x1, y1, x2, y2 if you were setting a square zone, and you've got information about messages, if it's only gas mask area, if you want to have load in it, the container name of the area, the number of crate that will pop in the area, the max loot you want in the crate if that pop, and then a particle position. A bit above you've got the toxic crate position, so where you're gonna have your crate spawn, the position of them, including the loot preset name for each one of them that can be different. And finally the creatures list, so each time a crate spawn there is actually those creatures that will spawn around the crate. So if you got, for example, 2 crates that spawn in the area, you will get twice that amount of creatures around the crate. Just remember that. Alright, and in those creatures name you've got the name of the creature, so by default it's wolves. There is a max value of 7, and you can put different chance of it to appear. So if you put, I don't know, 0.5, it's 50% of chance that those 7 wolves appear. If you put, I don't know, 1.0, that's 100% of those 7 wolves to appear. Same for the bear, you can put value between 0 and 1, and then the creatures will appear. Alright, that was for the creatures. Then let's go back up to see a bit more about this part, important part. So if you want to set a toxic zone, you're gonna go to, I don't know, iSurvive, some website you want to use. Let's say I want to have one at the airfield. Airfield is a bit of a bitch, so we're gonna make a small one over there. So I'm gonna choose a center, I don't know, there probably, and I'm gonna write down the coordinates that are just written there. Alright, so just make sure that it's this one. So I'm gonna put this one in X, the other one in Y, and I'm gonna choose the radius. So to choose the radius, I suggest you to use that small tool. You put your center there, then you try to extend it and see if what value take the whole area inside. So 220 sound a bit more, but 200 sounds actually okay. Yeah, 200, 200, 200. So I will choose 200 for that area. Alright. And on the other hand, if I want to set a square area, what I will need to do is set 2 points. So I need to understand one thing. When you set a square area, you need to respect 2 things. The x1 must be inferior to the x2, and the y1 must be inferior to the y2. Why is that? Because that's math, and actually to make a square you need 2 points, 1 point, 1 second point, and then you're gonna, if I'm choosing a tool, and then with the diagonals I can just simply, gonna explain a bit more like that. Where's my fucking mouth? Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I've got x1, y1, and then we've got x2, y2 over there. And actually if you know a bit about math, we've got, oh, sorry, that's, I don't really see the mouse, so it's a bit of a problem. We've got y, that is over there, and we've got x, that is over there. So that's why, that's what you need to understand, that first point is there, second point is there, then for the y, third point, second point. So we've got x1 over there, we've got x2 over there, y1 and y2. So with that 2 points, I can make a square or a rectangle. Doesn't really care if it's a rectangle actually. I'm calling it square, but that can be a rectangle. And that's about it. So once you set it, the x1, y1, x2, y2, you just have to enable that over there, and then this parameters are not used, but only that and that. All right. If you have further questions, just let me know. Come on the Discord. I will try to help, or other will try. All right, then we've got things you already know. Is message active? Put it to 0 if you don't want message when you come in or out. Then is only gas mask, so if you want to have only your gas mask to go there, or if you don't want to, just check the close config in the case of you want it to have full config. And is loot active? Put it to 1 if you want the loot system to work, and that will be linked to the position of the crates. So you're gonna have to set manually if you want to add a new zone. You're gonna have to set new coordinates for the crates to appear. So what I did when I did mine is I basically use an editor tool like Daisy Editor or the custom offline manager, and then I basically add my mod to it. I spawn the crates where I want them to be, and I export the coordinates that I put over there and the orientation that I put over there. So pose is equal to position, ori is equal to orientation, and the name of that bracelet part is the loot preset. It's not the name of the crate. The name of the crate, the class name is over there. So for that zone, toxic case is the class name of the crates that's gonna spawn in. Then you can choose how many crates per time that's gonna spawn. By default it's 1, but you can put 1, 2, or 3, or 4. But you have to keep in mind that that number of crates must be at least inferior to the number of position you have in total. So we've got, for example, for that one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've got 9. So I can only put at maximum 8 crate per time, because actually each time a new crate spawn, I remove the previous position that has been spawned a crate before. So I don't have crate that are on top of each other's. Also keep in mind that if you server restart and those crates didn't at time to despawn, I will automatically delete them when I spawn a new one. I will check if there is a previous crate at that location. If there is, I'm gonna delete it. That is useful information, I think. And finally, we've got max loot value. So it's the maximum value you can get in the crate, even if that's a chain system. So that means if there is 8 items in the crate, that will stop to spawn new items. So by default it's 8. You can put it to 15, whatever you want, but just knows that if you put 100 and the crates can only fit a certain amount of item, you won't have 100 items. So just think about it. I think the toxic case is about 300 slot, so just keep that in mind to know how many loot you want to have inside. Then I said finally before, but sorry. Then we've got particles position. So for a toxic area that you want to set, you're gonna have to set the particles position that goes inside. So actually the particles are not, that makes the area toxic. That's that part. You need to set X, Y radius. So that means All you need to make in area toxic is that. But to have the particle effect, you need that. If you don't want to have it, you can just select them all until you reach the end and just delete them. And then you just leave it blank. And no particle will spawn inside. But the area will be toxic. That's in the case you don't want particles. If you want particles, you just can keep them. Alright? And like I said, in the moving toxic config, you can set different type of color for the smoke. So for that one it's blue smoke, but by default I think it's green. Then you're gonna have to indicate the position. So you can use, I don't know, you can use the I survive to place them because you don't need orientation for that. So if you want to set some at nowhere at the airfield, you just have to keep in mind that one particle is gonna have one small particle. So the normal green smoke, blue smoke, red smoke are gonna have approximately 60 meters radius. So that will be your circle. Let's just try that. I'm gonna use that small tool. Alright. So if I'm making a circle from that, that will be something over like that. Alright. So all of this will be intoxicated. So you can do it that way, or you can directly go with an editor in game, place them, export the coordinates, and then enter it inside the particle by respecting the format. Alright. That may sound complex, but I'm trying, guys. Alright. If there's problems, just come to Discord as usual. So that's the part for the particles. You can add them there, respect the syntax, as I always say, and if you have something that doesn't work, you know that you can use JSON lint. That will always help you when you have problem in your config, the server doesn't start. You can copy paste the config there, check the JSON. If that's working, then it will tell you by JSON. But if something is missing, like something like that, it'll tell you that there is a problem. See? Parse error on line 76. So I go line 76, and what do I found? Well, actually, nothing. It says 76. It says the problem there, but the actual problem is there. So just keep in mind that it will help you find the error, but will not tell you exactly where it is. All right. So that was a part regarding the syntax of the JSON format. Let's move on with the toxic crates. So like I said before, I think if you want to have crates in your toxic zone, you need to place the position of the crates with an editor. That's the only way to make them. If you don't feel like it, I can help you by doing it. Come to the Discord, I'll explain to it. Sometimes I make some commission, I can prepare config. It takes time, guys, so yeah. If you really want something precisely, just let me know, or ask any helper if he can help you. That's something we can do for you. But the best solution is to use an editor like Daisy Editor or Custom Offline Manager. You use the mod with it, then you place the crates, you export the coordinates and the orientation, and then you add them in that section. And like I said, Army 1 loot preset and Army 2 loot preset number 2. If you have created a free like we did, can add it over there. That means at that position, if the crate spawn, it will be full of the Arma 3 preset loot. Alright. So that's about it for that config, and you can put all the static toxic zone over there. Thank you for listening, and I hope I was clear and not make you lost.